Okay, hello everybody. Hope you're all having a good evening today. Already starting fantastically well. My name's Smithy, owner of BFE, and I will be commentating tonight. No co-commentator, unfortunately. Everyone was busy, so you're going to have to put up with my voice, unfortunately. So, FRT vs TRT will kick off round 1 of the BFE tournament, Season 3. We put a poll out on Twitter yesterday, and the winning vote was that TRT was going to win. So for you guys who are early in the chat, who have you got to win tonight between FRT and TRT? Also, just let me know how my mic's sounding, if I'm too loud or too quiet. Let me know, as I'm by myself, so I don't really have someone telling me how I sound. So FRT says Brett. Surfy saying FRT goated. Poll was wrong. LMB Smithy fraud. Love you too, man. Love you too. Thank you, Jasper, for the follow. Make sure if you're not following, that you do give us a follow. It is free, of course. Jasper also saying that TRT are going to pick up the win. I think this is a huge race for both teams. With what most people are saying is Group A is the group of death. We'll take a look at the group shortly, but you know, with PSR and ERL in the same group, both of them coming head to head as well. I think it's a big race and big points up for grabs. Let's actually take a quick look at the group stage. I'm sure most people have already seen this, but we'll go through it again. So FRT and TRT head to head tonight in Group A. Got PSR and ERL. They take on the final fixture of the round. So as I was saying, it's a huge fixture because, you know, PSR and ERL most likely favourites to finish top 2 in the group, and obviously with 3 teams going through to the top stage knockouts, it's a big race because, you know, no disrespect to VRA, they're a new team. They're probably most people's favourites to finish bottom of the group. So, you know, it's a double pointer really, with all teams facing each other once. This is a new format we're running. Obviously, in the last 2 seasons, all teams faced each other twice, so every point counts. So we will see what happens. Other groups that we're looking at, of course, you know, we spoke about this in detail in the announcement stream. Group B, BFE, CSR, AMS, TTM, ETSR. Again, from my personal opinions, I think AMS and TTM are probably gonna come out on top. I think it's up for grabs between BFE, CSR, and ETSR. You know, BFE was my my old team. I've since left them, so I don't know too much about what they're doing in terms of new drivers and how strong they're looking. They had a rough season last season under their old name of PRT. So I think that will be a good group to look at. Maybe not in terms of raw pace, but also just to see how competitive it's going to be. Alerts aren't showing. Yeah, that's fine. It's just because I've got this overlay on the back at the moment. What else is everyone saying? But do shout out to Snow and FRT Jish. Also ignore my pronunciations. I'm awful at them. I'm English, okay? We're not good with pronunciations. Stabby is racing. We'll have a look at the lineups in just a minute. FRT dubbing coming. Got a lot of FRT fans in the chat so far, which is great to see. Brett says that Decorus are going to win Group C. Well, let's get on to Group C. I think this is a really difficult group to call, especially for me. You know, you got QBR, who came in midway through Season 2 and were really, really strong, and they look strong as well. SRX, you know, they boast some of the fastest drivers from Latin America, so they're definitely going to be one to look out for. EXR obviously boasts some fantastic drivers, although everyone calls them ABS merchants. I'm not going to get onto that because I use all assists, don't hate me. Decorus, obviously I don't know too much about them. They're brand new to BFE, so I don't know how strong they're going to be, but we've got Decorus Brett saying that they're going to win, so they must be pretty strong. SSR as well, they were raced in Season 1, got to the knockouts. They left halfway through Season 2 due to, I think, just not having enough drivers or down to availability. But they're back, looking strong as well. Looking forward to seeing how they're going to do. And then finally, Group D, some huge names in here. We've got NRX and FRA, who are definitely going to look to finish top 2. In which order, who knows? You know, NRX, brand new team, but they have some really good drivers. So fair play to those guys over at NRX for getting the drivers that they have. MRA also had a tough season in Season 2, so hopefully they'll come back strong. And obviously SLR and FGE, 2 new teams that I don't know too much about, so I don't know how strong they're going to be. But I think certainly, because I don't know that, the 3rd place between MRA, SLR and FGE is up for grabs. Well, let's take a look at the lineups then, shall we? So, here we go. So, shout out to Luca, by the way, from BFE for making the graphics. Also, ignore Tez on comms. He's decided to go get drunk with his friends tonight, so fair play to him there. So, the lineups are as follows. For FRT, we've got Broods in the... I think that's the Red Bull. Yeah, that is the Red Bull. And Jackstar is his teammate. In the Aston Martin, we've got Jumped, Warrior, and CK. That will be in the green Aston Martin. And we've got Stabby? Is that? I don't know. In the Williams, with Bell in the Williams as well. You guys are going to need to correct me on pronunciation because I don't know how to pronounce these names. And for TRT, much easier, I think. We've got Seed and Hunter in the Mercedes, Lewis and Caesar in the McLarens, and Sk and Danny in the Alpine. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a good race. Also, like I said, shout out to Luca for the graphics. He also made the graphic that you'll see shortly as well. So he's really helped Tez, who usually does most of the graphics. So I'm sure Tez appreciates the help. So let's get caught up on chat. Up the SSR, says Stenner. Love to see that. Jasper says Deluxe is goated. MRA winning it all, says Brett. LMB saying MRA goated. Some MRA fans in the chat. Up the crash at the final corner in Mexico. People who cry about assists. So I think we're about... I don't know if the lobby is open actually. Let me find out if I've got an invite on Xbox yet. I don't think I do. Oh, I do. Haha, I can get into the lobby now. So we should be due to start in about 5 minutes if everything works accordingly, but for those of you who have been here since the start knows that it never starts on time. Yeah, it is the Red Bull. Okay, I don't know why I thought it was the AlphaTauri, but yeah, just to confirm for those who have been living under a rock since the announcement stream, for the first time in BFE we have moved to F1 cars, so no more multiplayer cars unfortunately. It was something I was a big fan of. But most of you wanted F1 cars, so we listened to you guys and F1 cars are here. We've got reverse Caterpillar just spamming Kappa, things you'd love to see. P. Smithy, I'd like to commentate. I might drop you an invite during quali, mate. If you want to jump in. This chat right now is the reason I've muted the Discord, yeah. I don't blame you. Stop it. Stop doing that. I've muted the BFE Discord as well. I don't blame you guys, honestly. Some of them do like a good spam in the chat. What we're going to quickly do, actually, is we're going to jump over to a hot lap. It was recorded yesterday. Apologies for the absolutely awful voiceover. It's just, I'm not good at voicing over laps, I'll be honest. I'm better at live commentary than actually like scripted voice. So I'll take you guys onto the hot lap right now. Hopping aboard now with Woken from the TRT team for his hot lap of Bahrain. So we're going to see, coming down towards turn 1, he's going to brake around 100 meters out, making sure not to nick that right hand curve to lose traction. He's going to take a little bit on the left and most of the exit curve on the right of turn 3 towards the rundown to turn 4 we go. He's going to brake a little bit later this time, around 18 meters out, making sure once again not to nick that right hand curve, but taking most of the curve on the left hand exit. Actually, a new line that drivers have been taking this year down towards the downhill section, making sure not to hit any curb or a little bit on the exit there. Don't want to take too much of that curb, otherwise that could send you for a spin. Then we head towards what could be the trickiest corner of this circuit. Got to slow down quite suddenly. Goes all the way down to first gear and actually locks up his tyres a little bit there too. Now towards the next DRS zone down the straight, currently up on his time. A good chance for overtaking down this straight. Brakes around 75 meters out this time. Doesn't take any of the curb on the left or the right. Make sure to position his car halfway off the track to maximize turning around the fast right hander. Don't want to touch the curb on that right hand side. That is an automatic spin curb pretty much. Takes all of the curb on the exit of the penultimate corner. Now down the penultimate straight we go. Not really a good overtaking opportunity with the DRS zone coming up. It takes all of the curb on the left. Doesn't nick the curb on the right. And all of the curb on the exit of the lap. And he's going to cross the line to set a 1:24.166. So decent. Apologies for absolutely blowing off your ears there. I tried to turn it down. Mid video. But yeah, unfortunately, Boken is not with the TRT team anymore. Caesar's told me that he has moved on to PC, so that's a big blow for TRT. But they're still a very strong team, so we'll see how we do. Matty has absolutely violated him. Lap 16. Listen, some people like to sit on TT for hours. Some people don't. Let them deal with that. So I think we're waiting for one more person to start the lobby. It's the transition man. Yeah, the transition, there's actually nothing wrong with it. It's just how Streamlabs works. There's always that like buzzing sound. It's really weird. But at least myself or Tez haven't found a way to fix it. Okay, I think everyone is in. I think we're just probably waiting until 7:30 to start. So now that we've got more people in, final predictions, guys. So you've seen the lineups now. We're about to start qualifying in about a minute's time. Who have you got to win the first race of Season 3, FRT or TRT? And actually, who's going to get pole? What is your prediction on pole? And get your times in as well. How fast do we think these guys are going to go? I think if you're asking me for my pre-race prediction, I think I'll probably go TRT, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's definitely not going to be a walkover from either team. So I'm going to go a narrow TRT win. I'm really hoping that everything on the live screen is working. Deluxe says TRT 1 through to 6. Let's also hope for no crashes or incidents, because stewarding last season, especially towards the latter end, got a little bit interesting. Why does it say we're playing F1 2020? I tried to update it to 2021. I don't know if it's just not on Twitch yet or I'm stupid. It's probably the latter. So they're going to go fast. FRT gonna win easy. I mean, like I said, it can go either way. It's close, so I think it could be just down to if there's any early incidents, anyone loses a front wing. Remember, we're back up to 50% now as well. Obviously, group stages in the past have been 25%. So usually in a 25% race, especially in the group stage, you lose your front wing, you're most likely out of the race. But with safety cars enabled, a 50% race, plenty of chance for recovery, and also strategy comes into play as well. Will any of them try and qualify on the mediums? Okay, we're past 7:30 now, so hopefully we're starting soon. Let's have a look in the Team Boss chat. Nothing being said yet, but we have got people readying up, so hopefully we are ready to go. Hopefully all the graphics are working. Of course, if you guys have any feedback that is actually useful, of course, drop me or Tez a message, or if you indeed want to do some work in terms of producing any graphics for us, just drop us a message. I'm saying that more on behalf of Tez, who it's just worked to hell. Okay, we're readying up. We're going to start in 30 seconds. As soon as we load it in, we'll switch over to the live screen. Alright, we are in, so let's can we hurry up? I'm going to miss Love Island. I don't think that's a bad thing, mate, honestly. Right, so let's hope this works. Everyone cover your ears, because I'm pretty sure the transition noise is going to play. Oh, we are working. I think, hopefully. Also, one thing that I've been told by Tez is the top overlay graphic will be changed. It's a little bit janky at the moment. We had to change some things around about it. But it will do for now. But hopefully for the next race, we will it will look a little bit better. I know Tez is has very high standard of himself when it comes towards graphics. My ears are gone. I warned you guys. I warned you about the transitions. Is the game too loud? Just let me know what the volumes are like in terms of commentary and in-game volume. That overlay was loud as fuck. I did tell you guys. I warned you, don't say I didn't warn you. So we've got a car heading out on track already. I think that's one of the Alpines. Seed in the Mercedes. Just keep me updated on how the levels are, guys. Audio settings. Let's turn this down a little bit. Just keep me updated on comms a bit low. I can turn myself up a bit. Is that better? Are we all good now, guys? Put main volume up to 5. That's the wrong one. I will quickly because Seed is starting a lap and I do want to watch the first lap. Alright, so presumably everything is fine. We're going to jump on board with TRT Seed for the first lap of BFE Season 3 around Bahrain. Let's see what he can do. I think we can get the lap data up as well. Lovely jubbly. So, looks good so far. Certainly comparing it to... We've already got a yellow flag. I think that's just cars slowing down on the back straight to let each other through. Looking like a decent lap from TRT Seed so far. Nicks that inside curb, though. Doesn't choose to take that outside curb, which I've seen a lot more people take this year. He's the first one to set a sector time, so 27.4. I think let's jump with TRT Skirt. I think there's a Red Bull behind as well. See what he sets. He sets a 27.4 as well. So both matching each other on sector times at the moment, the two TRT teammates. Let's jump back on board with Seed. Much better. Cars are a little quiet. Okay, I can change that around afterwards. So everyone's on track at the moment to set their first lap. Short quality, of course. So around about time to maybe set 3 fast laps if you're quick enough. So very quickly, guys, what's your predictions for pole position I'm here for turn 1 carnage. Let's hope there's no turn 1 carnage. So I saw a 24.3 a little bit further up. And the first time set by TRT seed is a 25.2. And we've got a Williams 124.8, so 4/10 quicker from Bell the FRT car. I think we've got the TRT Skirk getting ready to cross the line next. He sets at 25.1, so both TRT drivers setting times in the 25s, but the first FRT driver is in the 24s. I think we've got that's TRT Danny starting a lap. He might have invalidated actually, set at 126.3. We've got Hunter setting a 125.1. Was that a spin? We've caught a spin from Caesar, the team boss, who's been banging on Twitter about how bad he is and how much he's spinning, and already in the first few minutes of qualifying, Caesar has spun. I thought I caught a spin. I'm glad that's come across. We've got CK in the Aston Martin set at 25.1, so around about the average time at the moment is at 25.1. So Bell in the Williams car certainly looking a class above as it stands. We've got Jackstar down at the bottom setting a 27.2, Caesar setting a 37.2. That's obviously down to his spin. Jackstar might have had a moment as well. Jumped Warrior in the other Aston Martin setting a 25.2. So low 25s is what's currently being set. We've got Matty saying a 24.4. I've got no in-game audio, can't hear the cars. Yeah, it's not great at all in terms of the audio glitches in this game that they still haven't fixed. So we've got 3 cars left to set a lap. We've got a TRT Ruben coming through sector 1. That's a 30.7. Don't know if he's on his cooldown lap. We've got TRT Danny getting ready to cross the line to set his lap. I think he's going to go 8th with a 125.9, so not the quickest. Certainly more time in there for the TRT driver. The only one in the pits at the moment is Brood. He was definitely out, so he might have invalidated his lap or spun. But there's CK going quickest, 24.8. So at the moment, it's the FRT team that have come out of the blocks looking much quicker than the TRT drivers. So 2 drivers now into the high 24s. Most of the predictions at the moment is sort of the low 24s, maybe mid 24s. So looking for about 3/10 from the top 2 FRT drivers at the moment. TRT Ruben has invalidated his lap, so he's going to jump into the pits for a change of tyres. Jackster, I think, is also coming into the pits. So most of the drivers now into the pits after their first run. So you'd have to say it's advantage FRT at the moment with that front row lockout. CK goated. Yeah, I was not expecting that. I don't know much about CK in terms of his pace, but he's clearly got bags of it if he's on provisional pole at the moment. Still very early on in qualifying though, so things could change quite rapidly. He's on his cooldown lap. Is Danny on a fast lap? No, he's on his cooldown lap as well. So I think everyone on their cooldown laps at the moment. Caesar has just cut that corner like an absolute genius. We've got any other poll predictions in chat? So we've got 24.5 from Jerry, 24.3 from Matty. So yeah, probably time for 3 laps, maybe even 4 if some people want to do a back-to-back run on the softs. But as we see, no one deciding to go onto the mediums. I don't quite remember what the strategy is around Bahrain. It might be a 2-stop for soft medium. You guys can let me know in chat what the 50% strategy is. It could be a 1-stop onto hards. Turn car sounds up a bit. So let's see who is next to start an out lap. I think it will be Bell in the Williams. So he got pipped by his FRT teammate for provisional pole. So we're going to jump on board with a full lap for him because he's clearly got the pace to stick it on pole position. So compared to the full lap that we sat on with TRTC, let's see what kind of lines that he takes. It'd be very interesting to see if he hops the curb coming out of turn 4. We've got Jackstar coming out on mediums, so maybe he's decided that his time isn't quick enough and he's going to set the time on the mediums. Is he going to take the outside line? He does. Making sure he's got his 2 wheels on the left side. Sets a purple sector 1, currently 300ths up on his current time. Coming through sector 2. I know a lot of the people who don't run ABS end up locking up for this corner coming up now, just to make sure that they can slow the car down even more. Going all the way down to gear 2 this time, so quite interesting to see the difference between the hot lap that we watched with Woken going all the way down to first gear. Bell's decided to stay up onto second gear though, nicks the curb on the inside, doesn't touch the curb on the outside, decides to not position his car off the track. He's almost a 10th up on his time at the moment, so this will still put him on provisional pole. We've got McLaren and a Red Bull just cut in turn 1 now. I think that's maybe just to get out of the way. So around the final corner now comes Bell. We're expecting him to go onto provisional pole. Let's see what time he sets. It's going to be in the 24s. It's a 24.730 onto provisional pole. It's a very good time. Still a few tenths off predictions in chat at the moment. More yellow flags. I think that's just cars slowing down at the moment. This lap time looks to be slower. It is. Let's jump on. Is this seed setting a time? It's slower as well, so that might have just been maybe another warm-up lap. Who else have we got on laps at the moment? So we've got a McLaren. That might be Ruben maybe. It is Ruben, who's just set a purple sector 2. Now obviously I don't know if that's a real purple sector or if that's down to just the game going, well, you're faster than currently no one because you haven't set a lap. But we're going to see TRT Ruben set his lap now. It doesn't look like it's going to be in the 24s. It isn't. It's a 25.4. 7 tenths off provisional pole at the moment. We've got an Aston Martin Jumped Warrior who is currently about to cross the line. He sets a 127.1. That was an interesting one because it looked like he set a purple sector. It looked like he was up on his time, so unless he had a spin, that could explain it. We've got TRT SKR now coming around. He's 4 tenths down at the moment, so he doesn't look like he's going to threat for pole position. Most of the fast laps coming to an end at the moment. So I think that's most second runs done from everyone. Yet TRT Seed has invalidated despite being just down on his time. So I see just doesn't want to break into the pit lane. Also 52 viewers, shout out to you guys. Make sure if you're not following, you drop us a follow. Got plenty of races coming up in the next week and a half. Ruben has also invalidated, but I believe this was just his cooldown lap from the looks of it. Jumped Warrior has also invalidated, so he will be coming into the pits. Caesar has also invalidated. I know he won't be happy with his time at the moment. He'll look to get a little bit higher. But Aston Martin, who I don't know if has spun or has just slowed down, CK, who was on provisional pole before being pipped by his teammate. So only 2 drivers currently in the 124s. So we've got 5 minutes to go. As it stands, it's a 1-2 for FRT. Have you guys got any bold predictions for the last bit of qualifying? Who are you expecting to see jump up the leaderboard a little bit? Jackster is still showing to be on mediums. He set a 127.2, which obviously is nowhere near the pace as it stands. So maybe he decides to go a few tenths quicker on the mediums. But if he's outside the top 10, it doesn't really make sense unless he feels like he can go a little bit faster. He needs to find about 1.5 seconds from his previous lap. So this is a hot lap from Caesar from the looks of it. He's the only one currently out on track. We'll see what his Sector 2 time is in comparison. He is 4 tenths up. Actually goes purple through the second sector. Again, I don't know how the sectors work. I don't know if they're purple towards pole or if they're just purple towards their best lap. But if it is towards the best lap, he's looking around about 7th at the moment. It's a really nice final corner, not too much curb on the exit. And Caesar, is he going to get into the 24s? He's going to be another 25 user, 125.171, puts him 6th place. So while it is a FRT 1-2 at the moment, TRT have got a few drivers up there. We've obviously got a second row lockout for TRT. We've got Brood in the Red Bull for FRT in 5th. I think the issue that TRT have at the moment is they've got 3 drivers in the bottom 4. So they're definitely going to want to get at least 1 or maybe 2 of them a little bit higher. And I think Brood will be the first person to set up. Everyone's going to wait. We're looking at their final runs now. One issue for Caesar is that he's done 2 laps on these soft tyres now. So mediums are quicker after 5 laps though in the race. Yeah, that's why I'm pretty sure it's a 2-stop, isn't it? Isn't it medium soft on the race? It could be a 1-stop. I don't know why I've got in my head that it's a 2-stop. I can't remember. Caesar almost has another spin. That'd be hilarious that I've caught 2 spins in qualifying. I'd be on pole with a 112.8. I'd love to see that. Beating the entire grid by 12 seconds. So let's jump on the lap with Brood then. This should be his final fast lap of the session. Loses it a little bit there. Jumped on the curb of the exit of turn 3. We'll be interested to see if he actually finishes this lap or just decides to pull off and go again. It looks like he's carrying on though. Currently just down on his time, so might not have lost as much time as I thought through Sector 1. Let's see if he can pick up any more time through Sector 2. We've got cars coming out now, especially those guys at the back. The top 4 are going to wait right till the last minute though to set their final laps. Yano done soft medium last night, but he's Yano. Yeah, that is true. Soft hards, medium hards, soft medium medium, slow, medium hard. Soft medium PGSL guys did it last night. Whoa, moment there from Brood. I don't know why that hasn't invalidated him. He's down on his time anyway, so I don't think he's going to improve on his time. TRT Danny just went quicker, but didn't improve on his time. It's just under a 1/10 of an improvement. So Brood is going to cross the line. I'm not expecting him to go any quicker. He doesn't. He might just have enough ERS to go again. I think we've got Jumped Warrior behind him, who's going to be the next person to set a fast lap, so we'll jump on board with him. We've also got actually Seed coming through Sector 1 as a yellow flag. I think that's just cars slowing down coming out the pits. TRT Seed down on his time, down in 9th place, so not the start that he wants. He's got to pick up some more time around the second sector and the 3rd sector. TRT Danny has invalidated, but I think this might be his outlap because he's got plenty of ERS. We've got Jackster out on mediums, currently 2/10 down on his time, so he's going to have to find a little bit more in the tank. Let's jump back on board with Seed as he's going to come up to the 2nd sector line now. So he's got to find time. He hasn't got to find a lot of it, to be fair. Around about a 1/10 is the difference at the moment. That's how tight it is. It looks like he's absolutely pulled away from his time now. But it just shows how tight the grid is at the moment. 9th and 3rd separated by just a 1/10.5. So there's fine margins at the moment between finishing towards the back in qualifying and being up there in the 2nd row. Jumped Warrior is in the gravel. I don't know if he's actually extended around the long right hander or maybe had a spin, but that's his lap pretty much done, and that's ruined his tyres. So I don't actually see the Aston Martin driver going any quicker. We've got Brood going 3rd, so he did do a back-to-back lap there. 1:24 again. Jumped Warrior, I think there's another spin, I think, there was TRT Hunter actually. So he's spun on his fast lap, so I don't think he's going to go any quicker at the moment. CK is starting his lap. We also got Belt on his lap. He's currently up on his time, so he's looking to go even quicker as it stands. Only 3 cars in the 124s. We had everyone predicting mid and low 24s. It's going to be an absolutely blistering lap from Bell to try and hit those. Everyone on lap, but he's actually spun. He's lost his front wing. That's qualifying over for him, but I don't think he will care too much because the only one who might look to beat him is his teammate, FRT teammate, of course, CK. But as it stands, it's a 1-2-3 for FRT. Certainly, I didn't expect this. We've got TRT Skur, who's invalidated his lap, so he's not going to go any quicker. Hunter had a spin, so I don't think he's going to go any quicker. No, he's not going to go any quicker. We've got Caesar up on his time at the moment. He's got to find round about just under a tenth to get up to P4. He's got to get into the 24s to even try and get into the top 3. We'll see where he finishes. We've got some cars coming in now to end their final runs. That was TRT Seeds crossing the line. First TRT driver into the 124. Caesar just missing out. Goes P5. Hunter is finishes lap. Rubens is coming into finish. Jumped Warrior has invalidated. So I think that is the end of qualifying. It is. So it's a 1-2-3 from FRT. That is certainly a surprise to me. We've got TRT Seeds P4, Caesar P5. So we've got a cluster of FRT cars in the midfield. We've got FRT 8th and 9th, TRT 10th, and then we have one TRT driver in Danny and Jackster. So one FRT driver and one TRT driver will have option tyres. Presumably both are going to start on the mediums. That's usually what happens, unless it's just a confirmed one-stop softs onto something else. Maybe onto the hards? Potentially. But there's your confirmation of it. So FRT, Bell with a 1/10 gap. Pole position for him. CK in second. Brood P3. Seed P4. Caesar P5. Skirt P6. Hunter P7. Zabi P8. Jumped Warrior P9. Ruben P10. Danny P11. And Jackster P12. He set his time on the mediums though, so be interesting to see how much pace he's got in the tank. I don't know how much slower mediums are compared to softs, but I think we're in for a treat. That turn 1 carnage is looking a little bit less likely now. You know, with 3 FRT drivers heading the pack, they're hopefully not going to be tripping over each other going into turn 1. Will we see any opportunistic TRT drivers try and launch one up the inside to try and gain some early positions? It's always difficult when drivers start in clusters with their teammates, because you don't want to make any stupid decisions on braking and take out 2 teammates. The question is, are they using TT setups for quali? Yeah, I think that'll tell. We've already seen a couple of spins from both teams actually. So hopefully there's going to be no glitches with the start. Formation lap should be off, because I know formation lap can cause issues. Please, Cody's, be kind with the start. I think everyone's just picking their strategies now. I'm almost certain that the bottom 2 will be starting on mediums or hards. Caesar has left. That's not good. Okay, I think we're having a lobby restart. Yeah, we are. Apparently CK had a problem with his Xbox, so Caesar has agreed to do a lobby restart. Which I think that's good sportsmanship from TRT, because obviously they could have just started the lobby with a 6v5, so big ups to TRT for agreeing to a lobby restart. What we're going to do, guys, actually, is while we're waiting for the lobby to restart, I'm going to quickly just post the fixture announcement with the Bahrain track information. Hopefully it's not too loud. If it is, I'll turn it down straight away for you guys while we're waiting for the lobby to open back up again. So we're still just waiting to get back into the lobby. I've just taken us back to the lineup screen for now because there was a late sub-in. Lewis has been replaced by Ruben, which I've just been notified by Caesar. So that's just confirmation of that change. Short notice. I'm waiting to get another invite. Got to supply my gamer tag again. So guys, you've got your qualifying grids. Predictions now for the race. So FRT certainly have the upper hand before the race starts. And give me your race winner as well. Be interested to see if any of you guys back a TRT driver. Alright, we have got an invite. Also, just to address it, for those guys who are offering to co-commentate with me, I really appreciate it, but I've got about 4 people messaging me asking to do it. So I think just for now, I'm going to do this by myself. But if you do want to commentate and you haven't got the role in the Discord, message me after this. Because I did ask in the commentator chat about an hour ago, asking for a co-commentator, and I didn't get a response. So if you haven't got a commentator role in the Discord, message me after this and I'll get that to you. But for now, while I appreciate you guys offering, like I said, I've got about 4 or 5 people asking, and I think it's a bit unfair that I grab someone midstream over other people. So unfortunately, you're going to have to just put up with me this race. But hopefully, from now, every single race should have 2 commentators. Okay, everyone is in. We're waiting for CK and Caesar to pick their car. Let's move back over to the live screen. Everyone cover your ears. I'm going to give you a 5-second countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See, don't say I'm not nice to you guys. Waiting for Caesar to pick his car. And then we will begin. 29 laps. So, did we get any race predictions in the chat? Doesn't look like it at the moment. Stabby thoughts on TRT getting battered. Oof. Listen, it's only qualifying. You get 1 point for qualifying and that's it. So TRT are currently winning. Oh, sorry. TRT are currently losing 1-0 to FRT. So it's not over yet. And we've seen many times that I'm not nice, Smith. That's not nice. I'm always nice. I've been horrible to no one in this stream. I'm not Tez. Surfy saying FRT for the win. Still waiting on Caesar. Fraudster 20 to DNF. I presume that's Jackster. Just waiting on the OK from Caesar that we're getting ready. Oh, of course he's got to edit the qualifying grids, to be fair to him, so we'll cut in some slack. Smithy is a very nice gentleman. Thank you, Surfy. I appreciate it. I try to be nice to everyone. Nick is going for FRT P1 and P4, TRT P2, P3, P5, so a close one then. Brett, Tez is still yet to get back to me on my CV if you haven't been getting on it, Smithy. I have actually seen it, Brett. I think we're waiting for some more before we make any decisions, but I have seen it. He hasn't forgotten about it, don't worry. Why did they literally pick 4 blue dotted cars? I don't know. That's not in my control. Well, I suppose, yeah, it's actually quite stupid. Well, as you guys see on the top graphic, you can see the teams, the cars that each team are using. So if you get a little bit confused, just have a look at the top of the screen. So your FRT, Aston Martin, Red Bull, and Williams, and then TRT and the Mercedes, Alpine, and McLaren. Yeah, that's not in my control. It's up to them what cars they pick. It'd be so much easier if we had multiplayer cars, but that's what you guys wanted, so that's what we gave you. Because, you know, I listen to you guys. I think the one comment that's hurt me so far in Season 3 is someone saying that we don't listen to you guys. Like, we have a suggestion channel for a reason. It doesn't get used properly half the time, with people asking to get unbanned and stuff. I'm kind of hoping this race starts now, because I'm literally just waffling. Everyone in TRT has their name, which I suppose also helps. FRT is bad for that. Get team tags, guys. Come on. You're in the big show now. Those graphics are really good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the graphics because Tez is looking to improve them, certainly for the next race. So if you guys like the graphics now, they should get even better. Because anyone knows about Tez, he's a perfectionist. Right, so we're finally starting. 10 seconds now. Let's get this started. So obviously a new thing as well, guys, if you've joined late, all of the streams should be uploaded to our YouTube. Our YouTube is in the About Us section in our Discord. So if you miss any of qualifying or miss any of the race for any reason, you can obviously look back on the stream for 2 weeks or jump on the YouTube and everything will be on there. Team prefix should be mandatory. Yeah, I understand that, but especially with the smaller teams who, you know, not having to dig at anyone, they lose a lot of drivers quite quickly due to the bigger teams. I think trying to enforce a team prefix name is a little bit harsh at this point. I think once the no assist tier kicks off, where, you know, it's the biggest teams, the best drivers. Is there a formation lap? No. If they've set it up correctly, there shouldn't be a formation lap because I know it can cause glitches. So as soon as we load onto the grid, we should see the lights come on. Alright, 30 seconds, guys. T-Pie, if you need to go toilet, you've got 23 seconds, so make it a quick one. Gotta get ready to channel my inner Crofty. FRT Bell, and then Tom adds end. Pretty sure Xbox would ban that name. Alright guys, so here we go. Season 3 of BFE is about to kick off. It's FRT versus TRT. Where's my controller so I can get stuff ready? There is no formation lap. We've got lights on. 3, 4, 5 lights ahead of the drivers. We are away in Bahrain. So it's a good start from Bell, who actually looks like he's going alongside with his teammate CK, who's ahead at the moment into turn 1. We've got movement at the back. Caesar making some moves towards the back of the grid. Caesar actually dropped back. He's around the outside. No spins at the moment as it stands. So everyone's come through turn 1 nicely. We've got the Williams up the outside, and there's a spin for a McLaren. That's Ruben who has spun. He's hit his rear wing there. So we've already got our first spin. He hasn't got any damage from the looks of it. So that's good to see. He can hopefully come back and recover. We've got Brood going up the inside of Danny, who's gone wide down the hill. So good move there from Brood in the Red Bull, who dropped back a little bit. And there's Jackstar up the inside of Danny, who doesn't want to lose 2 positions in one corner. Let's quickly jump on to telemetry. That can come off. Position changes at the moment. So yeah, not a good start from Brood, who started P3. He's all the way down now into P8. Good starts there from Skirt and Hunter making moves for TRT. So at the moment, TRT have got a nice cluster in the midfield. We've also got Jackstar, who has got past Danny, and Danny's also been overtaken by Jumped Warrior. So not a good start from Danny at all, who's lost all those positions that he gained along the start. Let's jump on board with FRT Zabi, who's on the back of Caesar at the moment. That's our closest fight that we've got. So the first lap of Season 3 is done. So Bell leads the pack from CK, Seed, Skirt, Hunter, Caesar, Zabi, Brood, Jackster, Jumped Warrior, Ruben, and Danny, who's dropping right back. He's had a spin actually. So we've got Aston Martin in the pits. Don't know if he sustained damage. Let's have a look. He hasn't. So he's just coming in for softs. Interesting. So that might be a strategy call. Danny's had a spin on the last corner, so he's dropped right back now. Maybe just trying to warm up his tyres. But Jumped Warrior coming in for an early stop, and it's not damage related. So that's obviously strategy related, which is interesting. We've got Zabi on the back. That's Brood. It looks like he went a little bit wide there out of turn 5. Zabi right on the back of Caesar. We'll stay on board with this fight at the moment as that's the closest. Is he going to try and have a dart down the downhill section? He's going to hold back for now. DRS obviously not active at the moment, so he hasn't got the help of DRS, just ERS. But is he close enough in the slipstream and with ERS to make a move on TRT Caesar for P6? He's going to hang back for now. We've got another yellow flag at the back. There's another spin for Danny, who's really struggling at the moment on these medium tyres. Yeah, look at that. Just you can see almost losing it again. Yeah, he's having a real trouble, Danny. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's having major problems at the back. Caesar is weaving down the back straight to try and break the slipstream of Zabi. DRS will be enabled this lap, but won't be enabled down the pit lane straight. But Caesar didn't get the best exit, which means that Zabi is going to be on the back of him now in the slipstream. Has got ERS, just hasn't got enough power down the straight. Might be running a higher downforce setup to Caesar, but is he going to make a move down into turn 1? Down the inside he goes. Caesar locks up. There's a little bit of argy-bargy. Caesar's going to try and get the inside corner for the next one. He hits the back curb of FRT Zabi. Has to catch it. Didn't see anything wrong with that overtake personally. I think that was just a little bit of elbows coming out. But Zabi is through into P6. And we've got another TRT car, Ruben. So we've seen two TRT drivers spin a lot, really struggling with their back end. I don't know if that's just down to them just not being used to the traction control or due to their setup, but not the start for TRT1. To Jump Warrior is going to look to start catching up that spinner now. Let's jump on board with Seed. He is the top TRT driver at the moment to try and take on these two FRT drivers who have the front row lockout. So let's quickly just have confirmation on laps. So there you go. So Jackster on the mediums. Really good start from him up to 9th. So 3 positions game. There's another yellow flag. I think that's Danny, who's really struggling. I have no idea what's going on with him. No penalties as it stands. So good to see from that. Let's actually do very quickly gap to leader. So you can see Danny now a minute behind with only 3 laps gone. So absolutely nightmare start for him and for TRT. But everyone's maintaining a nice gap at the moment. It's a nice train from around about 1st down to 6th. DRS is now enabled, but it's going to be a DRS train down the straight. I don't think anyone is going to be close enough to make a move or dive bomb. We've got CK right on the back of Bell, who obviously is the only driver in the top 6 who isn't going to get DRS. So he might be at the mercy of his teammate here. So they've got to play it tactically when it comes to if they want to swap each other around. But I'm sure we're not going to see that happen at the moment. But this is where the fighting is happening at the moment. It's between these top 6. We've got Caesar and Broods. Caesar has really dropped back from Zabi after that overtake in the last lap. So we'll see if Brood can maybe make a move on Caesar. He's really caught him at a rapid pace. So this will be the fight that will stay on board. There's another yellow flag. That's just Danny at the back, really struggling. The curbs are really, really deadly around Bahrain, yeah. Oh, and Caesar locks up and Brood has to slam on the brakes there to make sure he doesn't go into the back of him. So Caesar looks like he's struggling a little bit as well, you know. With how deadly these curbs are in this game, Bahrain is quite a difficult track actually. But I think this might be a fight that we see come to its conclusion. We also got Seed right on the back of CK, so I don't know if CK is getting held up maybe by Bell, or it's just Seed is showing a little bit more pace than the Aston Martin ahead of him. I think this will be the fight that we'll watch at the moment, because I don't think Brood is going to make a move on Caesar into the final corner. I don't know why he would with the DRS zone coming up next. I don't think Seed's going to have enough to get past CK at the moment. Caesar's going to look to break the slipstream down the pit lane straight. It's not going to be enough though, because he hasn't got DRS. Brood has in the Red Bull. He's going to go alongside and should clear him even before the braking zone. Is Caesar going to look to fight back around the outside? Nope, he's going to stay behind him at the moment. So that's Brood for FRT up into P7. So his recovery drive after losing positions on the opening lap is coming along nicely, but he's got to find around about 3 seconds without DRS, and we're still with Caesar behind him to try and catch the front 6. We've got Zabi now on the back of TRT Hunter. So he's had a really impressive drive, managed to drop Caesar by 3 seconds since his last overtake. So he's now on the back of this TRT train that he's going to hopefully look to start to break down to make his way up the field. Danny is off again at the back. Not to be mean, but I don't understand why he just doesn't retire at this point. Don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's having wheel problems. I'm sure we'll find out at the end of the race. But at the moment, I think we're not going to see too much action between these guys in the top 6, just simply because it's a DRS train. So I think strategy might come into play here. Who decides to come in early? Are we going to see 2 stoppers? Are we going to see someone try to maybe extend those mediums? Apparently that is possible. Are we going to see anyone on the hard tyre? I think that's probably unlikely at this point. No one pitting for the early pit stop, but there's just your confirmation of position changes. At the moment, we're seeing a movement into first place. So obviously from the onboard, we can see Bell just letting CK go there into turn 1. So a little bit of team orders. Maybe CK's got a little bit more pace than Bell. But we see a swap into turn 1 for the 2 FRT drivers. We've got Zabi still on the back of Hunter, who has a lockup, so maybe Zabi will be a little bit opportunistic down the hill. I think he's just hanging back for now. I think these are all incredible drivers. I don't think anyone's going to be looking to send it up the inside of any corner. That could be dangerous for both drivers. Come on, they're not Lewis Hamilton. So Hunter looks like he's struggling a little bit on traction. Don't know if it's just these soft tyres dropping off a little bit. He's got to be careful, almost tagging the back of his teammate. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact there. We'll check for damage if the... Hasn't got any damage. It looked like he might have just tapped the back of him, but that just shows how dangerous that corner is. You've got to slow right down, and if the car behind, you know, you brake too early or you brake too late, it could lead to someone getting some wing damage. We're just seeing Brood at the moment hasn't managed to narrow that gap to Zabi, and Caesar has managed to stick with him in terms of the DRS 1 second mark, so that's good to see in terms of TRT's race. We're about to cross the line for the 7th lap. Are we going to see anyone dive into the pits? Everyone is staying out at the moment. Is there going to be any swaps ahead? Bell is gaining on CK. Is going to stay behind him for now though. Ooh, had to be careful there. Almost looked like he was going into the back of his teammate. Seed also right on the back of Bell now. We've got Zabi. Oh, and there's a spin for TRT Hunter. I don't know if he got tapped by Zabi. They were right close. There's a reset for track, so that's going to be a penalty for TRT Hunter, unfortunately. It's very clearly stated in our rules you're not allowed to reset to track, so his race is pretty much over. He's going to have a 20-second penalty coming his way. TRT Ruben is coming into the pits. He's going on to the hard tyre, so that will see him most likely to the end of the race. Yeah, I saw Zabi on the back of Hunter right coming out of turn 1. I don't know if they had contact or if he just lost traction coming out of turn 2. But Zabi's resurgence up the field is coming across now, but he is 1.7 seconds back off TRT Skur, so he's going to have to find around about 8/10 to try and get back into that DRS train. So at the moment we're going to stay back on board with Skur, who is still in the DRS train of the front 4. So we're seeing spins now, we're seeing mistakes, soft tyres are dropping off traction. There's Danny, who's just not having a fun time at all in this race. Gaps are close, but DRS is so powerful around Bahrain. He spun him. Apparently he spun him. Okay, well I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that then, but he's still reset to track, so not great for him. And there we go. TRT Seed is jumping into the pits. Skur is not going to follow him. Zabi's not going to follow him. So the first of the front boys, TRT Seed, is coming in. He is going to bring on, it looks like the hard tyres. It is the hard tyres, so I've been told in chat that soft medium is possible. He gets held up a little bit there by Brood and Caesar pitting. Brood is onto the hards, Caesar is onto the hards, so clearly the strategy for most is going to be softs to hards. Let's jump back on board with the front 3 then. 20 seconds for a reset. Yep, it's in the rules. It's not allowed. We've been very strict on that since the beginning of the sector, the beginning of season 2. You know that you weren't allowed to reset to track. And you know, for someone like a TRT driver who has been here from the start, they should know the rules by now, and it's why it's there. Why the rules are there for a reason. So TRT Skur looks like he's just dropped off the back of the front FRT cars a little bit, which is good news for them because he's now out of DRS range. He's got to find some time through the final sector, otherwise that's not good news for Skur, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing him pit this lap maybe. We see Jackster getting past Hunter. It looked like Hunter went off track a little bit, so I don't know if he outbroke himself. Danny has now left the session. His race is over. We've got Jumped Warrior also on the back of Seed. So let's quickly just have confirmation of stops. So there you go, 7th down to 11th. We've also got our first penalty. That's TRT Ruben at the back. And tyres, there you go, confirmation. So 4 cars on the hards. We've still got the 2 medium runners as well. There is a car into the pits. And as I predicted, it is Zabi, who was just dropping off the back of those front 2s. So he's now going to most likely put on those hard tyres again. Yep, and he's going to look for a long stint. There's softs coming out for a car behind. That's TRT Danny. I think that's just his AI, who won't be much trouble for any of the cars now. The ERL takeover. Cheers, guys. So the 2 FRT cars still out in front. Skur hasn't managed to get back into that DRS range at the moment. Jumped Warrior is on the back. A little bit of a snap of oversteer. I think we just jumped on out of turn 3. He's on the back of TRT Seeds. Not going to be close enough down this DRS straight to make a move into the right-hander. We also got Caesar on the back of Brood. Still hasn't managed to make that position back up that he lost a few laps ago. Now with the TRT drivers, and especially Zabi coming in, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of the front FRT boys come in for a pit stop now just to cover off that undercut. But they've got to be careful because although Skur is out of DRS range, he is still there and ready to pounce on any mistake that the front 2 make. So most likely I'm expecting CK to come in, being in first place. Maybe he gets choice, or there's a strategy here that they're going to play. Let's have a look to see. He looks like he's staying out. Bell is also staying out, so they're extending the soft. Skirt is going to come in. 19 laps maybe on the medium, so maybe it looks like the front 2 are looking to extend onto mediums maybe and go for a 1-stop. But they're now under no pressure in terms of nearby cars, but they've got to be careful with the undercut. There you go, Skirt is on the hard tyres till the end of the race. Hunter is also in. He's onto the hard tyres. Jackster is through in P3. He obviously started on those medium tyres. So whether he extends to try and go onto the softs towards the end of the race, he could have a bit of pace. Let's jump on board with what's happening towards the back. It looks like Hunter is going to come out behind all of these guys. Jumped Warrior pulled out to the right, maybe to see if he could make a late move on Seed. Thought against it though. We'll see if he can get any closer down the run towards turn 4 now. It's quite difficult. You need a lot of a really good exit out of turn 3 to make a move here. I very rarely see overtakes in the F1 game in the run down towards turn 4. But this is going to be the action point at the moment. The front 2 are well ahead of the grid. They're yet to pit. Let's just have a look at... So there you go. The front 3 are the only ones who haven't pitted. Jackster on the mediums, which he started on. And CK and Bell, who is looking to extend those softs, most likely to go onto the mediums to the end of the race, while everyone else is onto the hards. Jumped Warrior pitted lap 3 for soft, so maybe he's looking to go for a 2-stop of a soft medium. He's pulled over to one side. He's going to let Brood go. So strategy call there. He knows that Brood is going to try and make it to the end. So those softs clearly are falling off. And there you go, the front 2 into the pits together. So they're not going to split their strategy. They're going to go in exactly. And are they on the mediums depth? There's Aston Martin, yellow tyres. Yellow tyres for both the Aston Martin and the Williams of Bell and CK. Jackster goes through in first place on those mediums. So the entire grid has pitted now, apart from the front runner in the Red Bull who started on the mediums. Where will these guys come out? I think they will come out safely ahead of Skur. It might actually be close. Skur and Bell, is he going to try and late break around the outside? It's going to be close. He's going to maybe try to switch back. No. So just in time, Skur trying the undercut on the front 2. And to be fair to him, he's probably gained around about 8 or 9 tenths. He was outside of DRS zone, remember, before he pitted. So close from TRT Skur. Maybe one more lap if the FRT boys decided to stay out a little bit longer, but he is still on the back of them. The issue is now is they're on fresh mediums while he's on fresh hards. So those mediums are probably going to be around about 6 to 7 tenths quicker a lap. So we might start to see a gap form between those two. It's also going to be interesting to see when Jackster comes in. Look at the gap between the leader. A pit stop is probably, what, around about 22 seconds in Bahrain. So he's looking to come out around about 9th at the moment. So he's going to want to try and build up a gap, especially to those guys on the hard tyre. Closest fight at the moment, obviously, is between Bell and CK, but they are teammates. So I'm not expecting any moves there. Let's jump on board with Caesar, who's on the back of Brood. Jumped Warrior also pitted. I completely missed that. So he's gone on to mediums. So yeah, so he didn't sustain any damage because he didn't have a front wing change. So why he decided to come off those softs, go put new softs on, and then come on to mediums is a mystery. But he's now right at the back of the grid. He needs to find 5 seconds to get to Ruben, and even then there's a 13-second gap between those guys. Bell and CK close. I think those two are just going to drive in tandem right to the end of the race, hoping to secure 1-2 for FRT. But at the moment, with Jackster presumably running down in 9th once he pits, it's going to be an FRT win, and it's not going to be too close, but it's not going to be too much of a domination at the moment. But it'll be interesting to see towards the end of the race if these guys on the mediums start to drop off. Already you can see the gap forming between Bell and TRT Skur, now 1.5 seconds, so around about a lap he's gained about 0.8 on the TRT driver. So it's sort of how much of a gap can those front two on the mediums gain on those guys on the hards, and will it be enough to when the mediums start to fall off, because they've got to go 18 laps on these medium tyres to those guys who have got to go, what, 20, maybe 21 on the hards, which should comfortably make it to the end. Caesar still on the back of Brood, hasn't managed to get on the back of him yet. Brood is out of DRS range of Seed though, so he's going to be at the mercy of DRS from the McLaren car. So maybe we'll see a move down into turn 1, but Caesar really needs a good final sector to get right onto the back of him. He's around about half a second off him at the moment, needs a good exit as well, which he doesn't get. He gets a slight snap there, and as you can see, that lost him about a tenth. Brood's going to cut over to the sides. Is it going to be enough? Is he going to be close enough? It will be close. It will need to be a late move from Caesar if he decides to go for it. Is he going to go inside or outside? He's going to see up the inside, and it was an interesting move from Caesar. It looked like he went for the move and sort of decided halfway into the braking that he didn't want to go for it, and hits the back of Brood's right tyre. Just jumping on cinematic cam to see if he's got damage. We see that Caesar actually turned off his DRS. He didn't want to make a move into that corner. Hasn't got damage, thankfully, for Caesar, but he's once again another lap having to stay behind Brood in the fight for P7. Danny a lap down his AI. Obviously he left a couple of laps ago. It'll be interesting to find out what happened to him. But at the moment, gaps starting to form. The DRS train in the midfield has been broken. We've got 1 and 2 second gaps. So the only two that are in DRS at the moment is Bell and his teammate CK in the fight for provisional P1. I say fight, it's not really going to be a fight. I'm sure these two are going to play very nicely to secure the 1-2 for FRT. And of course, with a 6v6 format, securing a 1-2 for your team practically confirms you the win, unless you have 4 DNFs and your final 4 cars are at the back. And fortunately for FRT, they've got Zabi, who's had a really good race so far, up into P5. Let's just have a confirmation of position gains. So obviously Jack's up 11 positions. He started last on the choice medium tyres, so he is still yet to pit. Everyone else, however, losing positions. Skirt is up 2 positions, so that's obviously provisionally 3 with Jackster to pit, and Zabi up 4. So he's certainly had the best race so far, starting from P8, now up into P5. Bell's right on the back of CK here. Are they going to see another swap? No, he's just going to brake earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another swap if Bell's shown a little bit more pace than his teammate CK, or that just solely might be down to the fact that he's got DRS while his teammate hasn't. But there you go, the gap now coming up to 3 seconds. So in the space of 3 laps, they've managed to gain around 2.3 seconds on Skur, who's on those hard tyres. Caesar has also dropped off the back of Brood a little bit, still within DRS range at the moment. But he's going to want to find a little bit more time, but at the moment it looks like it's going the opposite way, that he's actually losing time to the FRT car ahead of him. Not much to talk about at the moment. As I said, there's only real 2 fights going on. Has anyone got any predictions or questions in the chat? It's 59 of you, so shout out to you guys. Remember, if you haven't followed, give us a follow. Plenty of races coming up in the next 14 days, some big ones to go as well. You've got PSR, ERL, the final fixture of the round. We've got FRA, NRX is a big one, AMS, TTM in Group B. So we've got some exciting races to look forward to. Bell is going to overtake his team, so my prediction was correct on the 2 teammates swapping for the second time this race. Bell is through into provisional P1. CK is going to sit behind in P2. Caesar, even with DRS, is still sitting around about 6 to 8 tenths down. There's a yellow flag. Is there a spin? There's a spin for CK. The 1-2 for FRT in jeopardy now. He's really struggling to control the car. He must have lit up those tyres. So he let his teammate go, and I don't know if he just got caught in dirty air. But CK, I'm being told it's KFC, having a spin, is now down into P8, and that would have lit his mediums up. And that really changes things, because as it stands now, TRT Skirt is up into provisional P2, Zabi in P3. I think that still confirms an FRT win, but it will be very close. If I have a good mathematician in the chat, if someone wants to keep up to date on the score, that'd be really good. Usually if I have a co-com, I usually do it while they ramble on for a couple of seconds. CK really now needs to recover from that spin. All of the cars ahead of him, apart from his teammate all the way up in provisional P1, are on hard, so he has got the pace. So if he's going to make these moves, it's got to be soon, because these mediums are going to drop off. Almost losing the back end there as well. Seemed like he had to catch it. But especially with most likely lighting up those medium tyres, they're going to fall off a little bit quicker than his teammate. Also, big up to CK. He had a spin, or KFC. He had a spin and didn't reset the track. It's really that easy, guys. But he looks like he's going to get Caesar here in the fight for P7. He's going to actually come across him, be a little bit defensive. Nothing wrong with that. He's going to go up the inside. Is Caesar going to look to defend it around the outside? He's going to get the inside of the corner next. He's going to still fight it. It's close. There's a little bit of contact with the sideboard, but Caesar's not going to give it up yet. Who's got DRS down the next straight? Is CK, KFC, whatever you want to call. I'm going to keep calling him CK. I'm sorry, it's habit now. But he is up into P7 and has now got his teammate ahead of him. Meanwhile, Jumped Warrior and Ruben are fighting down for a point. There's another yellow flag up ahead. I don't know what that's for. There hasn't been any spins from what I can see. But I wouldn't be surprised if Brood's just going to let CK buy. There we go. He's going to let him buy into the slow left-hander. So CK back up into P6. Lockups there from those guys without ABS, who are obviously just going to look to slow the car down as much as possible. But now we'll be interested to see, with CK going through Brood and him having to slow down, has that put him into the grasps of Caesar, who's been just hanging around his DRS zone for the last few laps now. Star fraud. There's another yellow flag. There's a spin for Hunter. So that's his second spin of the race. He's now down in P9 on those hard tyres. Got to be careful. Or an off the track day. He's really lit them up. Got to be careful just not putting your foot down after you've had a spin, in case you spin again. So it's spin galore in Bahrain. He must have had a spin hitting that right in a curb. Bruce shouldn't be overtaking his teammate here. He's just going to brake nice and early. Got to be careful with Caesar behind though. There you go. That shows how much he broke early. Right on the back of him now, Caesar. 67-34 currently. Thank you very much for that. Well, I stated at the start in the preseason, as we see Hunter coming in for pits, so he must have really lit up those tyres, while we see Ruben come back at Jumped Warrior in the fight for ninth. So he's going to go on to mediums for the end of the race, and unless there's a safety car, which I'm very surprised there hasn't been. Nice camera work there, Cody's. That's two TRT drivers who are going to finish out of the points. So realistically now, the only chance that TRT have of winning this race is going to be if there is a safety car that brings Hunter back into it, or if the likes of Skur can get past Bell. But now you can see the gap coming up to almost 5 seconds. So unless he has an issue like a spin, all those tyres really drop off towards the end of the race. I think the win is almost wrapped up. But we said that with the 1-2, and we saw KFC spin. Hunter had no wing. Did he lose his front wing? Oh, he would have pitted for the front wing. That makes sense. Thank you for telling me that. I must have missed that. But still, this is the main point. We're going to stay on board with this at the moment. But as I said at the beginning of the race, you know, this is a really big race because of how hard the group is in. You know, with the likes of PSR and ERL are certainly favourites to finish first and seconds. That final top tier bracket knockout space is most likely going to be fought between these two and VRA. So whoever was going to win this race was going to have a massive advantage. And at the moment, it's advantage FRT, which is against what everyone was predicting. This fight is still going on between Ruben and Jump Warrior though. There are only Flashpoint this entire race at the moment. These two have been fighting for the last few laps now. Jump Warrior looks like he's got the move done. He's just ahead. Got to be careful not to slam into him and spin. The McLaren has got ERS. They're going to go side by side into turn 4. The McLaren should stay ahead and does stay ahead. Has Jump Warrior got the switchback though? Has a little bit of a snap of oversteer. And yes, Ruben gets the move done. So these guys who have been swapping positions for the last 3 laps, swap positions again. Ruben is through, but I wouldn't be surprised in about 40 seconds that we see these two going side by side once again into turn 1. And remember that Ruben is the only one with a 3-second penalty as it stands. So Jump Warrior still has this position, but obviously would like to get ahead of him and maybe start to reduce a 20-second gap between him. Jackstar is finally pitting, so he is the last person to pit. He started on those medium tyres, has gone 19 laps, so really good stint from him. He's now going to go on to softs for the end of the race. Where will he come out? I think he's going to come out in 8th place. Nice teleportation there. Fantastic. Camera's still not working. Things you love to see. Yep, he's going to come out. What is this camera? Apparently cinematic camera doesn't work while they're in the pits anymore. So yeah, he's going to come out in 8th place. We're going to jump on board with CK, who's on the back of Seed now in the fight for P4. So he's really reduced that gap. Is he going to try around the outside of turn 4? Seed tries to squeeze him. He's still there around the outside, but Seed just has the inside line, managing to stay ahead of him now. But this will be the fight that we watch at the moment. Jackster has come out in 8th. What's the gap between him and Caesar? Obviously all of these guys apart from CK, and he's hit him. Seed had a lock-up down into turn 8. I don't know. Hopefully CK didn't get damaged. He didn't from the looks of it. But once again, for not the first time this race, we've seen a car go into the back of another with no damage, which is always great to see. The gap between him and Caesar, I say Jackstar, isn't updating. Things you love to see. That was also Hunter down in P11, setting the fastest lap of the race in P11. So he will get no point, but he has taken a point off any FRT driver at the moment. But of course Jackster is on those soft tyres, so he's the fastest man on track as it stands, and he's really looking to reduce that gap. I can't see the gap unfortunately, but if I'm looking at the mini-map, it's probably about 3 or 4 seconds. We've got a nice 4-way fight at the moment. Obviously Seed is really holding up CK. I'm expecting a move here with Zabi just up the road as well. Oh sorry, that would be Danny, a lap down. Here goes CK, he's going to go up the inside into turn 1. He should have this move done at the moment. Yep, no room for Seed to try and make it around the outside. CK's up into P4. And what that's allowed to do is it's allowed Brood to get into DRS range of Seed. So CK might have actually helped his teammate out a little bit here. But there's a lock-up from Brood, which has allowed Caesar maybe to try it down the inside. Not close enough. They all have to now make it through the ghost car of Danny, which might put them off a little bit. Seed just needs to now try and stick with CK, who's on those medium tyres. They might look to drop off towards the end of the race, and that might be an opportunity for Seed to maybe get that position back. But we're going to stay on board with Caesar at the moment. All of these guys are going to get DRS, which probably doesn't help Caesar's case. With usually when he tried to overtake Brood, Brood didn't have DRS, but now he is most likely going to get it off Seed ahead of him. So actually, Seed not helping his teammate there in terms of trying to get back past the Red Bull car. No car damage, how? You know, I'm surprised. Let me just check that it's on. Simulation settings. Car damage is on reduced. Okay. Oh, Hunter has retired. Hunter's had a spin. It's hard to see where he lost it. He might have lost it on the exit curb of the downhill section. But we have our first retirement of the race. Is that going to bring out a safety car? Jackster sets the fastest lap of the race. He's now going to get past Caesar in the fight for P7. Should get the move done nice and easy. Does get it done nice and easy. He's on soft, Caesar's on hards. And once again, from FRT, I'm fully expecting Brood to just let his teammate go. And Brood's is in a good opportunity to really get high up. You know, obviously the gap between first and second is getting quite big, and obviously there's 2 and 3 second gaps between third and fourth. But in terms of getting up there with his teammate CK in P4, Jax is really on it here. Oh, and he almost gets collected by his teammate. Brood lost his back end coming down the sector and almost swerved in front of his teammate. No damage, thankfully, for FRT, but he is through, probably not as routinely as he would have liked, but he is ahead now. Can he maybe make 3 overtakes in the space of 1 lap? He's got DRS, but also so has Seed. Don't think he's going to get it done, which means it's most likely a move that will happen down the pit lane straight. Crashgate 2.0. Well, if it was a crashgate, it hasn't worked out well. Hunter has left. He's realised that there's no point staying any longer with 7 laps to go. But Bell is currently in control of the win for FRT, but I'm sure we're about to see a move from the Red Bull FRT driver Jackstar on TRT Seed. Probably the easiest overtake he'll have to make all race. Softs against hards, gets the move done way before the braking zone. And now Jackstar is up into P5. Now, most likely, CK is going to let him go to chase down TRT Skur, but there's around about a 4.7, around about 5 second gap basically between Jackstar and TRT Skur, who is currently the highest running TRT driver. So at the moment it's pure domination from FRT. 3 TRT drivers in the bottom 3. Jumped Warriors down there is the anomaly at the moment for FRT, but if someone wants to do a maths check, I'm pretty sure the 67.34 that was posted a while ago has just got a little bit bigger, which I think has not only surprised me, but it surprised a lot of the guys who voted on the poll on Twitter, as FRT were considered the underdogs coming into this. Everyone was fancy TRT winning, but it's actually gone the other way around. There's Jackstar getting past his teammate in the Aston Martin. He's now looking to chase down his other teammate Zabi, who's still looking to chase down TRT Skur, who's actually reduced that gap a little bit down to 1.7 seconds, so he's doing a job as well. The gap between Skur and Bell is just getting bigger, so I don't think he's in any chance of winning this race at the moment. We've got 6 laps remaining, and the main flashpoint at the moment is going to be between those guys in the midfield. I think Jackstar is just going to start to break away from this pack now, and it's going to be between these guys on hards and to see how much CK's mediums fall off, whether they'll actually manage to hang on for the rest of the race, or whether we're going to see him start to drop back towards the end. We've got Brood, we've got right on the back of TRT Seed here, and if Brood can actually get past Seed, it's going to be a 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 from FRT, who, fair play to them, you know, they look strong in Season 2, they had a very good season, but they've clearly been putting the practice in, because they look absolutely rapid at the moment, especially in comparison to TRT. Seed having a little bit of a moment there through turn 7, now down to the long left-hander braking zone, still right on the back of him. Don't think he's going to be close enough or have the speed to make a move on Seed at the moment. He is gaining on him, but he's not going to gain on him enough to make a move up the hill. He's going to wait for that pit lane straight. Looking at this gap already, look at that, 1.7 seconds now, the gap between Skur and Jackstar. It was 5 seconds a lap ago, so Jackstar has been an absolute monster on these soft tyres. But obviously I'm sure someone said earlier that the softs tend to drop off after about lap 5 or 6 and the mediums become quicker, so I think Jackstar's going to want to really quickly get close to his teammate to let him by, to try and track down this last TRT driver. Don't forget the 20 seconds Seed pen. Why does Seed have a 20-second penalty? Because he resets the track. I know it's a dumb rule, I know people hate it, but it's in the rules for a reason, and everyone should know it by now. So Jackstar is now within DRS range of Zabi. He's most likely going to let him go down the next DRS straight towards the uphill section in his race to try and track down TRT Skur. That gap between him and the front runner now 6.5 seconds. So the chance for FRT 1-2 is still on even after that spin for CK or CKFC. I keep bouncing between the two, I'm sorry. But there we go. Zabi lets Jackstar go. He's now got 1.5 seconds to try and gain on TRT Skur with 5 laps remaining, which I think, depending on how much these softs drop off, I'm fully expecting to happen. Seed is on the back of Brood, who actually has just made that move happen. I completely missed that. So Brood is now ahead of TRT Seed, who of course has a 20-second penalty coming his way. But Brood is up into P6 even without that penalty. And at the moment it looks like Seed with that penalty will drop down around about the 10th place. So it's a 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 from TRT at the moment. We're going to stay on board with Jackstar. There's some close fights happening with Seed looking to maybe get past Brood again. And it looks like, I don't know if it's just down to the pace, but CK seems like he's struggling on these medium tyres. I don't know if they're just starting to drop off and these hards are just starting to get up to temperature. But CK is going to be at the mercy of his teammate and Seed if it continues. 4 laps to go. We're going to stay on board with Jackson now. He's within DRS range of TRT Skur. It's total points. So it's the same point system as in F1 in real life. They all get added up. That's the group stage total score. Hunter has a pen, not Seed. Oh, sorry, my bad. So Hunter DNF, so actually there's no 20-second penalty for Seed. As Skur goes wide, I don't know if that's just to let Jackster go because he knows there's no point fighting it, but Jackster is up into P2. Absolutely mega drive, unless he's actually looking to get DRS range down the pit lane straight, which could be a smart play from Skur, looking to maybe just hang on to the stop. But look at the drive that the Red Bull gets out of the final corner. But just before this fight potentially happens, a big shout out to Jackster from last place, starting on those medium tyres. That just shows that the medium softs can work. He's up into P2, so absolutely mega race from him, and he should now just drive away from Skur with about 3 laps left to go. We'll just stay just until the run down to turn 4 in case Skur gets close enough. I don't think he will. And it's actually good news for Zabi, because it could be a 1-2-3 for FRT. Both of the drivers are on hard tyres, so now it's just simply down to, you know, who's quicker. I think what Zabi's going to want from his teammate is Jackster just to get out of DRS range. There's a lock up there from Skur down into turn 6. And it looks like Jackster has just broken it. I don't know if he broke it in time for this DRS straight. But TRT Skur is now not going to get DRS, which means Zabi is now in a prime opportunity to get P3. There's a 3-second penalty for Ruben. That takes him up to 6 seconds. So each point is worth something. Yes, each point is worth something. So even if you scrape a P10, that 1 point could be the difference between a place in the group. So a little bit of oversteer there from Zabi. Skur is trying to just stay between that DRS range. It looks like he is going to get it down this pit lane straight. So Skur might be safe for one more lap. He's going to get DRS just to confirm. We should see that back wing open up nicely. Zabi also has DRS. So I don't think there will be a move this time at the front. Let's just jump at the back. Is Brood going to get past his teammate CK? Yep, straight around the outside. CK now down into P6. But here's Seed, who's looking to be opportunistic. He left the door open, CK. Seed's now going to look to go up the inside. He's got the outside line now for turn 2. They're going to really start to push each other off the track. Manages to not spin. He's going to dive up the inside down towards turn 4. Now jump onto cinematic cam. Seed looking to get past CK on those hard tyres. He's going to have the inside now. He's ahead. CK took the TT line and is now behind and actually hits Seed. Hopefully there's no damage there for the Aston Martin car. There isn't. But Seed is ahead, and there's another hit, there's another touch between CK and Seed. They're really banging wheels now. Not the cleanest of racing from these two. CK's now going around the outside, and there's a half spin from the Mercedes. They went side by side down towards the slow left-hander. You don't really want to go side by side there, and CK has just barged his way past Seed. He's going to look to come back down the inside now. CK just managing to stay ahead. That could have ended really badly. Some interesting racing there, some argy-bargy, not the cleanest. But CK manages to hold on to the position from Seed, who was opportunistic down into turn 1, saw the Aston Martin car pull over to one side to let his teammate go, and went, do you know what, I'm going to go diving up the inside too. I don't think this fight is going to be over yet, because we've seen Seed is very late on the brakes, and fair play to him as well, because it was a clean enough overtake if he would have made it into turn 1. CK is going to get a nice slipstream here from his teammate, who's probably just slowing down to help him out. Seed has really dropped off the back of him now. 52 viewers, thank you very much guys. Make sure you follow if you're not already. We're on the penultimate lap of this race now. TRT Skur still on the back of Jackster, hasn't managed to lose him yet, and Zabi hasn't managed to get past Skur as we were witnessing the fight that was happening down in P6, which I'm sure will continue to the last lap with points up for grabs. Are we going to see any drivers try and make any late moves to try and pick up an extra 2 or 3 points? Jackstar has got the fastest lap for FRT, remember, so that's an extra point for them. Brood needs to give CK DRS. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the plan. because Brood got past CK very easily, so I wouldn't be surprised if Brood is just sandbagging a little bit to help CK out, which I think might be enough just to help FRT across the line. But as it stands, as Bell comes down the penultimate corner, it's going to be an FRT win, and it's going to be quite a big win for them as well. Let's jump on board with Zabby, who's right on the back of Skur. He's got one more lap to try and make it a 1-2-3 for FRT, which would be absolutely huge for them in their quest to get into the top 3. Here he comes now. Look at the pace on that Williams car against the Alpine. Is he going to go inside or outside? He's going to go down the inside into turn 1. Zabby is through into P3. Is Skur going to look to get the switch back around into turn 1? Zabby has made the move. Who's going to have DRS? He almost loses the back end there. Maybe just got caught in that dirty air. But it's an FRT 1-2-3 as Zabby gets past Skur in the fight for P3. A small lock up there isn't going to affect him that much as well. But there we go on the final lap. Skur loses the final podium position, which means as it stands, we're going to get an all FRT podium. Seed still on the back of Skur. I think this will be the fight that we're going to watch all the way up to the end of the race. Are we going to see Seed make a late move? There's a McLaren going slowly. I think that's just to let someone go by. Yeah, that's just Danny at the back who's disconnected. But this is the fight we're going to watch until the checkered flag comes. Seed has got one more DRS zone basically to make this move, but CK has also got DRS from his teammate Brood, who's playing a really good supportive game here. He's not going to be close enough, so unless there's a really big mistake from CK in these final 3 corners, it's going to be 6th for them. But let's cut on board back with Bell, who is in P1. He said in the chat before the race that he was going to win. He has been in P1, he swapped positions a few times with his teammate, but he has absolutely dominated procedures here in the first race of Season 3 of BFE. He brings it home for FRT. Jackster comes home from last position to get P2 on those soft tyres. Zabby confirms P3. It's a 1-2-3 for FRT. Skur gets P4. Brood confirms P5. CK holds off Seed to get P6. Seed comes home in 7th. Caesar down in 8th. Jumped Warrior will finish in P9 with Ruben and Danny. Danny having all sorts of problems towards the beginning of the race. 2 laps down, he will finish out of the points, and Hunter apparently had a wheel disconnect. So he unfortunately DNF'd, which is really unlucky for him. But it is FRT who pick up the first win of Season 3 of BFE in extraordinary fashion. I thought it was going to be a close race. I thought TRT were going to win. But it's FRT who have come home to nail the most points. I'm being told it's 78-23 before penalties and without fastest lap. FRT did get fastest lap, so it's going to be 79-23 before pens. Well, that was an interesting race. Some interesting strategies going on. Bell proving that the soft medium can work and is still incredibly fast, but as we saw from CK, they do start to drop off towards the end of the race, and those hards can come into play. But team play helped massively there. But there's your confirmation. It's a all FRT podium. They get the first points of Season 3. GG to both teams. There were some really good overtakes, some really good racing. A few argy-bargy moments at time, but nothing really contentious from my eyes. So a GG to both teams. Let's just get confirmation of those final run-ins. So Bell, Jackson and Zabby confirming a 1-2-3 for FRT. Skur P4, Brood P5, CK, KFC, whatever you want to call him, P6. I'm sure I'll ask him how to say his name. Seed is in P7, Caesar P8, Jumped Warrior P9, Ruben P10, Danny disconnected down in P11, and Hunter with a DNF down in P12. I'm going to screenshot that for future reference. So, GG to both teams. Apparently I'm being told that someone might have started on the wrong tyres. I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that anyway. But I hope you all enjoyed the first stream of BFE Season 3. There's plenty of more to come, so make sure if you haven't followed, you drop a follow. We're going to end this stream with just the outro fixture video that was prepared by Tez, so shout out to him. And hopefully I'll see you guys. I believe the next race might be Sunday or Monday. I don't know. I'm bad. I'm the owner and I don't know when my own fixtures are. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the race, and I will see you guys soon. Ciao.